He had how many cups of coffee in that
It's like
episode?
101 or something. Wait, no, doesn't he get up to like 300 at that point?
I
Something like that.
You are the resident Futurama expert. I have only a minor. I
So
enjoy it.
if you're just tuning in, Dave's had 300 cups of coffee like a cartoon character.
Oh, sorry.
I just literally said before we started recording, hey, Dave, let's talk about the response to last week's episode on YouTube, how they agree that the movie's a horror movie. And last week he said it's not a horror movie. And then Dave started talking like we were recording, but we weren't recording. So all that organic banter, the magic is just lost. It's gone. The only one that can save it is Jordan and her pink light.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I was going to do a womp, womp, womp sound, like, but...
Oh, you can womp, womp anytime you want. This is a free
womp,
democratic
womp.
podcast. Go ahead.
Well, that was it. So, yeah, repping the pink light and the pink shirt.
We're also supporting Dave's alcoholism. We told him to grab the bottle of Jack and just let it rip.
I actually did do a lot of drinking this weekend, but that's because I was in like a casino at night, basically. For 3
Go ahead,
months.
tell the story. You have your social anxiety at a family event. That's great.
Oh God, no, seriously. I think you're joking, and sadly not.
We're always joking for disclaimer reasons, Dave. Say at the end, it's always a joke. JK, hashtag JK.
But at the end of the day, there's always alcohol.
Yes. We're now sponsored by just kidding.
AA.
Oh, that'd be great. We'll get Alan on to sponsor us. Why not? I mean, hey, Jordan introduced me to this good word like prospecting, right? Like I'm working on getting new sponsors, and she's like, "Oh, prospecting." I'm like, "So yeah, cast a wide net. We'll get like every kind. We'll get nonprofits. We'll get churches. We'll get bake sales. We'll get a junior high bake sale to sponsor the Binge-Watchers podcast if we have to. Yeah."
Why not like Girl Scout cookies? Like just a girl. Like just
no. Because, listen, Girl Scout cookies are a total racket though. They work like the mafia. You don't want to cross them, Dave. You don't. That's one organization. I'll make jokes about Mexican cartels. I'll make jokes about Sony, iTunes, Google. You do not fuck with the Girl Scouts. Let me tell you. You don't mess with them.
I want to work with the Girl Scouts. I want to.
And so they dropped the F-bomb. I guess I've taken it for the show now because YouTube doesn't like it when you swear consistently for a half hour. As I found out 2 weeks ago on the Maniac episode, we swore too much for their Google AdSensors. Can you believe that? Home video headlines, folks. Sarah Michelle Gellar says that Zendaya should be the new Buffy the Vampire Slayer during an interview for somebody's book. This is a long title. Let me see if I can struggle to get through this. Some lady wrote a book and interviewed the cast of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. The name of the book, Every Generation a Slayer Born, How Buffy Staked Our Hearts. Zendaya as Mary Jane from the Spider-Man movies is pretty sassy and very similar to Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So if you're watching Zendaya in the Spider-Man movies that have just came out, the Tom Holland ones with let's see, what's the last one?
Well, literally
No Way Home. Well, I know, but I'm reading the titles. The most recent one was No Way Home that just came out. Before that, it was Far From Home. And before that, it was Homecoming. It's all tied into his high school years, whatever. I would believe that if she's got that sass, that attitude, that like she could be a Buffy the Vampire Slayer type.
I was gonna wear my Buffy shirt tonight, but
wow,
the velvet PJs.
See, now you're not gonna believe me because I'm about to say Jordan could be a Buffy the Vampire Slayer in the reboot.
I am, I'm all for the Buffy. I'm a huge Buffy fan. I think Zendaya would crush it. She's also in Euphoria, which I'm a fan of. And then she's the girl in Dune, even though she didn't have like a huge role in that movie.
Yeah.
But
they're supposed to be beefing up her role for part 2 or whatever.
Well, I would hope so. I mean, I loved how they kind of like teased some of those scenes, but like the movie actually never got that far. But she's like the it girl right now. She does everything, so I'm here for it.
Yeah, no, I totally buy her as a Gen Z Buffy. Why not?
I remember that Dave loves Buffy so much he locked himself in his room and watched it for 3 months.
No,
when he bought the. Oh, you're right. That was me. I was waiting to see if you're going to tell the story, so I decided to spill my dirt before you got it out.
Just same spot for like.
Just want to steal the thunder of that. Yeah. I don't believe you, dude. I think it was 3 days. It was like a weekend.
All I know is I would leave for work at 8.
Yeah.
Maybe 8:30 a.m. You're sitting Indian style, and crisscross applesauce in front of the TV. Come back,
such a liar.
Still crisscross, watching Buffy, and you're like, it's just only an hour.
Paints a very vivid picture when you say crisscross applesauce. I love it.
It does. Hopscotch. All that grade school stuff, huh, Dave?
Oh yeah.
Jessica Biel is gonna play an axe murderer named Candy in Hulu's Candy, based on the real axe murderer Candy Montgomery, who chopped her friend to death. Her friend's name is Betty Gore, which is kind of like legally ironic because if your last name is Gore and Gore is like a horror movie term, right? And Gore would be the choppy chop. So 41 times from your best friend. That seems like it's going to be one of those good true crime shows or whatever.
I didn't even get to read the headlines ahead of time, so this is fresh for me. Yes, and thumbs up. I want to see this right now.
Anything with Jessica Biel, I am all for. So,
did you see that psychological show where she kills the guy on the beach and they're trying to figure out why she killed the guy on the beach? And then Bill Pullman comes as a detective.
Yeah,
I've heard that's a good show.
It's so good.
Good question. It's good question.
Is it The Sinner?
The Sinner.
Yeah, that's it. Like everybody, it goes into detail about like all these ideologies and like every season has like a different case, but somehow that detective keeps coming back.
It's so good.
This is the first time I'm glad I didn't read the headlines. I'm like, ooh, real reaction. Yes,
it's
I want
surprise.
it.
Yeah.
Well, one of the seasons has like a 12-year-old boy that's like raised in a cult, and then he ends up killing the people that are like holding him hostage at the cult or something like that. Speaking of I don't know, crazy stuff, but this sounds stupid. Ben Stiller to play Jack Torrance in a stage version of The Shining. I don't think The Shining could be a stage play, even though it's very theatrical the way Stanley Kubrick made the movie and built the sets, but I'm not going to hang out with The Shining as a play.
But here's the question I have, which is, and nobody's answered yet because I've read this separately. Is this going to be an adaptation of the Kubrick movie, or is this going to be an adaptation of the book? Because they're two different beasts.
Sure. Well, I'm sure some Kubrick is going to slip in there the way he styled everything.
Probably, but I could totally see this being a stage play. Because when you get down to it, it's really one location. It's a big location, but I mean, it's a hotel, so you can
with the hotel lobby. And maybe that room 215 or 213.
Yeah, you could dress up. One hotel room looks like another. As far but the big.
You got to bring back the furry though, right, Dave?
Oh, absolutely. Blowjob. I don't know if blowjob gets on YouTube's
we'll find out.
We'll find out.
We'll find out when this episode drops, David.
As far as Ben Stiller, maybe. I mean, I don't know. He's been a good dramatic actor from time to time, but I don't know. I haven't seen him go like maddeningly crazy. I don't know. We'll see.
Interesting take. Yeah.
He didn't go crazy, but he went emotional in that movie where he plays a drug-addled screenwriter. Permanent Midnight.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only time he's really got on a ledge. Besides Tropic Thunder, where he kills a panda and wears it like a hat.
Although, you know what? I will say this. I mean,
Dave, I'm going to cut you off.
Crack open a cold box of wine or pour something cold on ice because it's the Binge-Watchers podcast.
Yeah, if you're wondering, folks, we break the momentum every time we play the theme song, and then we sit here in awkward silence inside a virtual studio, trying not to look at each other in the eye on the camera while waiting for the theme song to end playing. And I cut Dave off, but you're really fast tonight, Dave, which is unusually fast for Dangerous Dave. You're like ahead of me.
The Red Bull.
I slammed a Red Bull before this. So.
Damn.
My dude.
I don't know what's going on tonight. Okay. Tonight's movie is called Ravenous. It came out in the 90s, but it's sometimes listed as 2000, but I was pretty sure late 90s.
It was 99. It was actually 99.
On a leap year, maybe. I don't know. Okay. This is what the movie's about. At a remote outpost, Captain John Boyd and his regiment embark on a rescue mission that takes a dark turn when they get hunted down by a sadistic cannibal. Guy Pearce is John Boyd. There's an awesome British actor. I think he's British. I don't think he's really Scottish. I think He's playing Scottish. Is he Scottish? Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, he goes back and forth. He's a United Kingdom actor named Robert Carlyle. You might like him from the Full Monty. What? The first movie that had Dangles in it. At least the first movie that I saw with Dangles in it. That was actually good. Like, not just like, here's the Dangles, but whatever. Okay. Jordan's writing down on our list. Gotta watch Full Monty.
Here's it. It's called the Full Monty, and yet you never actually see the Full Monty. They covered up at the last minute.
You got to get the director's cut, David.
Oh, so that's what the other cut on my DVD is. All right. Guess what I'm watching?
Well, we know what Dave's watching tonight. We got to be careful. Jordan's mom listens to this podcast.
Oh my god, yeah, especially the sex stories one. Just kidding. Thank you, Mom and Dad.
I just said blowjob twice, technically 3 times.
So when you go to that family brunch on Sunday, it's gonna be great. Just great, you know.
Oh,
Little
you know, no
interesting
secrets
conversation
in
over
the
the
Savage
potatoes.
fams.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Passing the Jello salad and be like, "Hey, by the way, heard that last episode?" Yep.
Well, too much blowjob talk for my taste.
Dave, you're up to like 6, man.
That's 4. I've been counting them.
Oh, you've been counting them? All right.
I love it.
Nobody mentioned a glory hole, so I think we're all right.
You just did.
Did I? I didn't hear anything. My headphones are acting up. I don't know. All right. You got facts for us or what? Gonna sit here all night?
I do actually.
Actually, I know that somebody also has savage stats, so I feel like there's like a competition
No,
heating
just
up.
personal story. So
Oh.
I just
Oh, wait,
call it
okay.
savage statistics because I like the alliteration, but Dangerous Dave with the facts.
Which one should go first? What should be the order of these segments here?
I'm sure he'll bring up like the most obvious fact
I don't know. You tell me what that is.
that it's loosely based off of the Donner Party event. Are you guys
I
familiar?
did not put that because I found other things interesting. So go on. Tell us about the Donner Party.
Am I going to do a history lesson right now?
It turned into a PBS special all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And now we'll talk about the Donner Party.
Okay, briefly, right? So, this group of people left Illinois in the spring of 1846, so it's still around the same time frame. They're going out west to California to get more fertile lands, and they decide to take a shortcut, right, through the Sierra Nevadas. They ended up getting stuck, and they resorted to cannibalism. And so now that stretch of area is named after them. However, I've known this for a while. I am related to the Donner Party. So great grandpa was a Donner. My grandma married him. So it'd be like maybe 2-3 generations removed from that, but got a picture that no one will be able to see since this is a podcast, but I can show my dudes. Super kind of weird, but yeah, take it away, Dave, with the dangerous facts.
Oh, that's why they call you Savage.
That you would think.
That's where the surname comes from. They got down the mountain. Savage surname.
And they're
So
like,
this is not-
changing the name.
So this is not so much a fact, but a personal thing. Keep in mind, I watched this movie over the weekend, and I, in fact, traveled through the Sierra Nevadas. So that was in the back of my mind the whole time I was driving through it. I'm like, oh, man, do not stop anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so actually, this was kind of a bit of a troubled production. Actually, 2 weeks into filming, the original director was replaced by Antonia Bird, who completed it. The studio actually wanted to go with another director, but Robert Carlyle lobbied for her, as they'd worked together a few times before on Priest and another movie that escapes me. This movie was actually supposed to be much more snow-filled than it was. This was filmed in Slovakia during one of the warmest winters at that time, and snow only showed up for the last 2 weeks of filming, so they kind of had to rush and get any snow shots in while they could. The actor Jeffrey Jones asked to have the script altered and have Boyd kill him. He thought that was a more natural end to the movie. The movie was also talking about things changed on the spot. They were supposed to, the end battle was actually kind of created on the spot and choreographed by the actors and director. It was originally supposed to end on a fiery rooftop, but they decided a man-on-man fight on the ground was better. the movie was actually supposed to open with a huge battle during the Mexican-American War. Some scenes are shown in flashback, but it was supposed to, the entire beginning was supposed to be that battle. They chose to do it the way they did because they thought it was a little bit too much like Saving Private Ryan, which came out the year before. And actually, Jeremy Davis is both in that movie and this movie, so they wanted to avoid any comparisons. And
Playing a wormy guy in both movies too.
Yeah, exactly.
This guy's more of like kind of snail person, like complainy and like definitely he's fodder, man. Like he's worm food in both movies. Like he just know he's not gonna make it. I think does he get eaten first? With the exception of the off-screen people that get eaten.
I think he is actually.
Yeah.
We might talk more about him in favorite bits.
Talking about eating people, I mean, we kind of glanced over the fact that Jordan just said she's related to somebody in the Donner Party, or at least that family line lineage.
Mm-hmm.
And went right on to this stuff. Let her last name be a warning. They changed the name, but it still provokes a warning. Okay, don't. but
snacky snack.
I was gonna say like we have been circling cannibals for like 4 shows, right? Think about this. We like got social with Fresh, and then we moved into what did we do after that? Well, Maniac. I guess there's no cannibals in that, and then we just did Ravenous. There's another movie, right? What did we do the last couple of weeks besides?
Just 2 because we also did Maniac Cop and Possession, and there were no cannibalism in those movies.
All right, and then next week's movie will kind of continue, but for a different way. They're not exactly humans eating people, but they are still eating people technically. Anyway, right. So it'll be like a 4-week streak, just like red meat. Blah, 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 blah.
There is a theme for sure.
There's definitely a theme.
So let me sling one last quick fact at you. Poor guy Pierce. He's actually a vegetarian. So the very last scene, one of the last scenes in the movie where he's eating a particular stew, he had to it had lamb meat in it, so he had to spit it out at the end as soon as the director said cut. So that poor vegetarian had to deal with a little meat in this movie. At least it wasn't actually human.
It's pretty funny.
That I know of.
I thought it was a method actor. They didn't kill somebody off screen and feed it to the cast just to make it really authentic. I guess you can't. I guess you can kill people, just not animals. Okay, PETA doesn't care if your background player dies, David. All right. Okay. Sorry to throw us off. That was really, really dark, morbid humor. In my imagination creeping up. So we're gonna go into favorite bits, which is a funny name for a segment about a movie where they're eating people because the bits could be literally bits of the people. Jordan, are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right.
I love this scene when they approach the cave in the beginning when they, Ives is trying to bring them back to the cave, talk about how there's, a group of people who are stranded and somebody's eating something. And I love when he starts getting spooked. The call that he was making was just shook me to my core. It just kind of got me super spooky. And then you find out he's the guy. And I also loved Jeffrey Jones as Hart in this movie. I just thought he brought this kind of cheeky, little vibe a little bit to it, to an otherwise super grim and really, horrific story about cannibalism. So I love that he's, Charles and Beetlejuice. So he kind of there was a little bit of subtle comedy, I felt or at least funny lines that I liked. But yeah.
It's always bittersweet talking about that actor because he's a really great actor, but then I guess in his personal life he did some horrible shit. So it's
that's the unfortunate part.
But he was a good actor. And he's also in what is that movie that's actually pretty good?
Everything
from is it? It's the movie with the He plays one of the guys. It's a Johnny Depp horror movie with Christina Ricci. What is it?
Oh, Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah, he's in Sleepy Hollow. He plays. That's his other period.
Yeah, he was a big Tim Burton guy.
Oh yeah.
He's one of those actors that whatever he's in, he elevates it.
I'll let you go first, Dave. We might have a crossover here, but we'll find out.
Probably. I don't know. We'll see. I forgot how good this movie is. Actually, I only seen it once 20 years ago, so this definitely got better with age. The 2 scenes. Because one thing is this movie is a dark comedy, and they kind of let you in on that at the very beginning with some quotes. So they key in pretty quickly, hey, don't take this too seriously. But the scene, speaking of Jeremy Davies earlier, he has my favorite line delivery and moment in this movie. We're like, oh, he was licking me. He was licking me.
To give you a background of the story, if you're not going to watch the movie or haven't seen the movie, whatever, the first guy that gets injured was the wormy guy we were talking about a little while ago, and he's in a tent trying to sleep, and then the other guy is literally licking the open wound, and then says, "Oh, my apologies, I was having a nightmare. I don't know how I ended up with my mouth on the wound."
A couple other favorite bits. The music, something I typically don't care about in movies, but this movie kind of went out of its way to have a bit of a unique score with, old twangy Southern. I don't know what exactly genre of music you call this, but like, what was popular 10 years ago with like the twangy Lumineers or whatever that was. I don't know. It felt very Ozark or whatever. I really like the music in this. And the crazy stunt of, he's kind of cornered by the cannibal, doesn't know what he's going to do. He's either going to have to get eaten by this guy or jump off a cliff. He says, screw it, I'm jumping off a cliff to get away from him, and has like one of the longest tumbles through trees and down a hill in movie history. That isn't a comedy. Like, I was instantly thinking of the movie Hot Rod, except that it does the same thing in that movie, but played for comedy.
I mean, they wrote in like hitting the branches on the way down, and as a way to like soften the blow, like that. Right. That's the reason he might survive. But if you think about it, those are equal to the force of falling. He would actually be better in a straight fall. Yeah, better off dead. He's better off dead. Like, I mean, he'd have a more success in his straight fall because each branch has the same force as the fall. The inertia is the same.
Giant tree trunks. Yeah.
Yeah. So every branch is like falling again. So he's like getting hit with the same force over and over, which would be problematic.
How every bone in his body was not broken, I'll never.
But they're also doing this thing where they're saying, but they're saying like you can absorb somebody's energy by eating them, and your wounds will magically heal.
That's spoiler alert. That's right. That's how he gets out.
Anyway,
but he was already been dead before he got to the ground.
I didn't. Okay, so now it's my turn. I didn't remember that this movie had so much tone and style. In my memory, since I saw it over the years or whatever, I thought it was much slower paced in my memory. And I was surprised that it had so much tone and style like in the beginning. And it's a Nietzsche quote. It says something like, what Dave was talking about is like, be careful if you're hunting monsters, you might become a monster yourself, something like that. And then the other quote is just like, eat me or something like that. And it says anonymous. I think that's what it said. It's well edited and it moves faster than I thought. But I also thought that there was more of like a confrontation between the main character, Guy Pearce, and then Robert Carlyle's character. Yeah, because it was mostly he stayed the coward hero and reluctant hero, and then they have that single confrontation that you're talking about. But I will say, like, Robert Carlyle could be like a Dracula, like
absolutely so good.
In this movie, he gets to a point where that's what it's like. It's like, oh, we're looking at like Vlad the Impaler here at the end of the movie. Like, it's pretty cool.
Well, he was a villain in that Once Upon a Time show, and I can't remember who it was.
Horrible. He was Rumpelstiltskin, right?
Really?
He had the bubbly skin, and
I think I've only seen like a total of 1 or 2 episodes of that, but I will say whatever scenes I saw him in, he was the highlight.
Yeah, no, and I thought he was recognizable, and then I had to like go back because it's obviously been like a decade since I've watched that horrible show. But I like loved it when he like goes to shake hands. Right, they bring him in as the replacement, and his eyes were just like so black and beady. It was good.
There might also be 2 versions of this movie. Like this one might actually have a director's cut. Maybe, or some other cut.
In all my research, I did not find any, but other than
the order of when they kill what's his name. Gosh, I guess it's how memory changes over time because I do remember it being more snowy, and you were talking about how they had like a lack of snow on the production.
And there was snow; they got what they could, but there was supposed to be a lot more.
For some reason, I had thought that who played not the main drunk, but the one who was silly and who played the pothead? What's his name? He was Dewey and Scream.
David Arquette.
Yeah, it's so funny. I can never think of people's names, so I have to describe the movies they're in. Like, David Arquette. So I thought he died first, and he doesn't die first. He dies like third or fourth.
Yeah, I thought he was in it a lot more. I think they kind of like he was big in the Scream movies, so they were trying to amp up his.
Maybe they had him for like one day.
Right, but it feels like they didn't really have him in there that much for being a name at that time.
Yeah. Try to get the MTV generation to go see Ravenous, David.
Well, this is not part of the facts, but it did not make money, sadly. But
Zero money.
I mean, it made like $2 million off a $12 million budget, so it did not do well at all.
That's rough. That's why Guy Pearce is not. He doesn't have like a main part for like the next 5 years or something.
Well, he did Memento a few years later, so that kind of boosted him up. But that was an independent production that didn't know it was going to be big.
How do you guys rate this movie?
Jordan?
I would binge now. Yeah, I liked it. It was again good pace. The score was really interesting. Made me think I was playing like Pokemon or I don't know.
Sitting there with
You're right, because the cannibal through the whole movie is like, I catch them all. He has like the same attitude.
Literally. Yeah, I don't know. It was just like kind of this weird, more upbeat score that was just like, I don't know. It kind of went well. Yeah, binge now for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna say binge now. Also, I honestly, when you brought this up, I was like, really, that movie? I kind of remembered it for whatever reason in my memory. I thought this movie sucked. I don't know if my memory sucks or just time has been good to this movie, but it's a lot better than I remember. And actually, I've probably watched it like 4 times now, considering I've also watched commentaries on it. But it's really a good movie. I'm amazed at how well this holds up. So binge now. John?
They try to write some mythology into the movie that's like really wrong. Like they try to write in the native myth about the Wendigo, but they get it like super wrong. So I want to say binge now, but the mythology is wrong. So I'll still keep it a binge now, but I just want to point that out. That's just a point I want to make. Like, but they wanted a backstory. They wanted to build in this supernatural monster element to it. So I get why they did it, but it's not correct. It's the wrong story. So a young fan wrote to us after he got over our YouTube channel, which is popping off right now. So if you guys would rather enjoy watching episodes, we have some posted on our YouTube channel. You can go look at it. A young fan named Kareem said, hey guys, why don't you guys do a review, or can you please do a review of this movie called Jack's Back, which is another one of those like modern Jack the Ripper things, I think. I don't know. It looks like James Spader's in the movie. It's a horror movie from the 80s. So like, hell yeah, we take fan recommendations. We'll do reviews for you. So Kareem, if you're listening, what we're going to do, we're watching this episode. The next episode, we're going to do like a mini review. We're going to do a fan pick instead of a staff pick. We'll all watch this movie, and then we'll give it some time, brother. We'll throw it out there for you. Thanks for listening and tuning in and watching our podcast. So we appreciate you. Love all our fans. And we're going to try to keep making this in perpetuity as long as the wheels don't fall off the bus. We'll see. Okay. Staff picks for this week. If you watch something outside the podcast that you'd like to share with the audience, something you thought was cool or intriguing, or in Dave's case, tantalizing. How do you say that word? Tantalizing?
Well, it's either tantalizing or titillating. I'm not sure what you're trying to say.
Put them together, David. Make a new word.
I like it. Just go with
Tantillating? Tantitillate? I don't know. We'll have to figure that out.
I just literally said it. I said titillizing.
Titillizing? All right.
I was hanging in the air awkwardly because you didn't absorb it. Jordan got it. She left. She knows where I'm going.
I liked it. I watched a newer one on Hulu called Deep Water with Ben Affleck, kind of similar to Gone Girl. I really did like it. I liked it a lot. This time he is the killer, so I will spoil that for you.
I haven't seen it yet.
It gets obvious though, so there's like
okay. If it gets obvious, I'll let it go.
No, there's no like secret at the end.
Of the movie so this isn't like a big reveal we know from Front Street.
Wait, I thought but it's a mind game. I thought the wife took out the other.
So what's interesting about the wife is that she's like very European, right? So she like flaunts all of her like, relationships in front of her husband. And so he's obviously like, he's a very jealous person. So you kind of go through this, like, they are constantly trying to, like, almost one up each other if you look at it that way. But Dave, I'm excited for you to watch it. And
it's on my list. The only reason I haven't watched it yet is I've been traveling, but it's like top of my list for this next week. I heard don't tell me what it is, but I've seen a headline where it's something about a snail wrangler, and I'm like, what? So I guess there's snails in this movie somehow, and I'm waiting to see what that's all about. That's all I know. All right. Well, as I just said, I've been traveling, so I haven't watched a whole lot. I did actually catch sometime last week a Stephen King movie I never got to called The Night Flyer. People like it. Mm-hmm. I thought it was okay. It's got a cool design at the end of a vampire, but that's about all it's got going for it. And I've watched one episode of 2 new shows that are actually kind of fun. I'm looking forward to watching more, but coming home after a long weekend, we saw something on Netflix called Is It Cake? And we're like, okay. Me and the wife said, let's click that. What's that all about? And it's a cooking competition where really great bakers have to make cake look like other things, like a taco or a burger, and fool judges. And I was sucked in.
Well, that quickly jumped to number 1. So apparently you watched it like 1 million times.
Those darn baking shows.
And then I watched at least one episode of the new Big Mouth spinoff, Human Resources. Mm-hmm. I love that show, so of course I had to watch. Yeah, it's basically all the hormone monsters, anxiety, mosquitoes, all the side characters have their own show now. And the one episode I saw, I liked it, and I'm going to keep watching it. What about you, John?
I watched this new show on HBO Max called The Minx, which is about a woman, and she starts a magazine for ladies. You know, it's a special magazine for ladies, and she gets plugged into
something I want to watch.
Yeah, she gets plugged into this whole other world, and like she wants to. It's weird because with her character, like she's like pro feminism, but it almost seems like the show is kind of making fun of feminism at the same time they're talking about its ethics. But then she gets pulled into like what would be a male-dominated 1970s world, but the guy is just an opportunist. Like he's not actually the guy running this porn company is not like a sexist. He's just a businessman, and then he sees that she has good ideas, wants to finance her magazine. It's supposed to be like the first softcore, spread magazine for women, right? Be like the what is it, Playgirl or whatever for women or something like that.
So that's what it's about?
Yes, dude. And it has so
that's just jumped to the top of my watch.
And
number 1.
Prepare yourselves because it has a lot of scientific danglers, okay? Just for the sake of art and science are the danglers. All right? There's a reason why they're there. And all shapes and sizes. So it immediately, I would say it's artistic, okay? All right.
Is this a full season drop or is this like a week-to-week show?
They dropped 2 episodes. I don't like how HBO Max tricks you and drops a few, and then like you don't know the schedule, and then they drop one at a time. I just don't like this semi. Well, we talked about this before. I don't like this semi streaming world. I like drop them all. I'll get to them all, even if it takes me 6 weeks to watch 6 episodes. I like the freedom of having it exist in a playlist. So
and see, I'm actually kind of on the opposite end. I actually like the week-to-week.
You want a reason to live. You want to come back on every Thursday.
That's exactly exactly why.
The only thing I don't like is they're not consistent. Where, like you said, sometimes they'll do 3 and then week to week. But then sometimes, like on that other show that they're doing right now that we talked about,
the pirate show,
our flag means death. Like, okay,
they
3
like
episodes, and then 3 episodes, and now 2 episodes. Like,
they burned off the entire first season. Like, hey, we're done with the show, or by the way, we don't know if we're coming back. Here's all the episodes.
So like, either stick to a week or drop like one or the other, either all in 1 week or week to week. You know who plays the promoter who brings her into the company to make a deal with her is the main character from Drinking Buddies. Yeah, I saw Jake Johnson.
Yeah.
I like him.
So, well, it's definitely a show that we should talk about on this show. So you guys got to keep up.
I mean, I know this is a first world problem, but I hate all the good TV that's coming out. I'm like, dude, I can't keep up with all of it.
I hate to break it to you, Dave. The first world doesn't exist anymore. That's over with. Oh man, as long as we have the internet, I don't care if we have food, clean water, or they can nuke everything, but as long as we have the internet, we're fine. We're absolutely fine. Got our Netflix and our South Park, we'll be all right. Which apparently they're going to make for freaking ever.
Good. Good.
They're about to do like a 20th anniversary concert or something at like Red Rock. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, with Primus and other folks.
Ooh, next week we're gonna feed our insatiable buffet style cannibalistic hunger with The Hunger, which is a vampire movie, but it's got David Bowie in it. And who's the lady, Dave? She's in Bull Durham.
I think it's Susan Sarandon.
Yeah, Susan Sarandon at like the peak. Like, I don't know if she does White Palace before or after this movie, but it's in the same time frame of like is that movie.
I think it was about 10 years later.
That's another one, Jordan. Put the Minx and White Palace on your list here.
Never ending list over here.
One day we'll just do an episode called Jordan's List, and it'll be like 3 movies from her list.
I'm just gonna have to do the whole podcast
You know,
by myself reviewing movies that you guys have told me to watch.
The sideshow, yeah. I mean, it's just like,
No. You got to do a curated month of Jordan picks. You got to give us our three favorite movies.
Dave's been pushing for that,
too much
folks.
Pressure. Wait,
well,
Dave, movies.
Dave's pushing for a staff pick month, which I kind of wrote out of the plan, but
it doesn't matter. You got a solid year set up. There you go.
Yeah, nice.
Making you guys watch all musicals. Just kidding.
Hey, I actually like musicals.
I think I remember that actually. So
I saw West Side Story in the theater. I risked COVID.
You would, David. You would. See, I just wanted to dramatically set you up for the outro song, Dave.
Oh.
What you snacking on over there, Dave?
I literally put a bite of food in my mouth in between that. I thought the music was going to go longer.
You never know. I got this power over here, and I'm just like flaunting it. It's corrupting me.
Like the Red Bull's corrupting Dave.
Yeah. I got this button, and I can click it any time. I can play music. I can play videos. I can turn Dave's microphone off.
Yeah. You're crazy with power.
Drunk.
Mad with power. Or should we say mad with power, since it's March Madness?
Oh yeah, I forgot that was the theme of the month. Oh boy.